ask them to revise these numbers, but I think you're just trying to crunch too many houses in too little space, and it's just not what Butner is about. We are about more country feel. We are an area where we'd like to say we can actually watch the deer cross the street because that's how we are. This is not us. That's all I gotta say on it.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Cecil Hudgens, live on G Street. I think most all of you have seen an email that I sent out on the same topic. I won't pretend to know what a 1,400 square foot lot looks like, nor the townhouse that sits on it, whether it be 1 stories, 2 stories, or 3 stories. I have no idea how we originally arrived at 3,500 square feet. So on the surface, going from 3,500 to 14 sounds a bit extreme. Again, I haven't seen this in person. I did share with you a lot of developments that I looked at around the surrounding areas. I'm not sure any of those were 1,400 square feet. And they were trying to attract people in the community. We're trying to do affordable housing. I would just ask for serious consideration, if you're going to stick with the 1,400, to not make this a permanent clause in LDO for every development that we do, but make it on a per case basis, per development basis, so that you do have some leeway, so that at some point 1,400 may not be the bait that you want to use to attract some fish. You might want to be at 2,000 or 2,500, maybe even back to 3,500 at some point. But if you make this change permanent in the LDO, you've made a permanent decision for all the future development in Butner. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none.
My question is not pertaining to what they just brought up, but I have 2 other questions for you.
Please state your name and address, please, first.
Al Bullock, 800 West D Street.
Thank you.
My question is about the sidewalks that, you're going to address tonight. And the thing about that is you're talking about the easement. How do you go about coming up to get the easement that you need to put these sidewalks in? And my other question is that you're talking about going, in the other direction from where I live. Is there any plan to come, from 12th Street to 5th Street down to that direction on C or D Street as far as the sidewalks are concerned?
Yeah, that, we saved that for public. This is the text amendment about the development.
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close the public comment period, and you can. Our petitioners' comments.
Would you like a quick?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. My name is Preston Royster. I'm an engineer with Thomas Hutton Engineering Company. We're representing North Point Development for this text amendment to LDO. Sorry. So as Katie mentioned, we're proposing 2 changes to the LDO with regards to townhomes. The first is the minimum separation between buildings, reducing that from 20 feet to 10 feet. And the second is reducing the minimum lot size from 3,500 square feet to 1,400 square feet. And in order for a text amendment to be acceptable, we have to meet 5 standards as set forth by the town. Most of the standards we had no effect on, such as the comprehensive plan, the townhome size, as Katie mentioned, as proposed is in alignment with the town's comprehensive plan and future land use map. The one we did feel we had an effect on was the demonstrated community need. Currently at 3,500 square feet, a townhome lot that is 20 feet wide, which my gentleman said over here is the average width, will be 175 feet deep, which is well beyond what the industry standard is for the depth of a townhome lot. And I'll show you some examples from adjacent municipalities here in just a second. So we feel this text amendment would allow or make townhomes a more viable option in the town of Butner as a housing choice. Currently, there aren't any townhomes that I'm aware of, or at least there aren't many. So you'd have to have a special case in order for the 3,500 to actually work. Again, no conflict with the LDO, it's consistent with the zoning, and with regards to impacts to the natural environment, this may actually help some of that by clustering some development. So to give you some comparisons to adjacent municipalities, we'll look at three. We'll look at the city of Oxford, Durham, and Wake Forest. First, for the city of Oxford, they do not have a minimum building separation that's dictated by the zoning code. Their minimum building separation is dictated based on the building code, which I believe is 6 feet. So we're proposing to go slightly beyond that to 10 feet. They also have no minimum lot size for townhomes in their UDO. As an example of this, I don't know if you're familiar with Hatcher's Creek or not, one of the newer developments in Oxford. This is the plat that was recorded for the townhome portion of that site. And as you can see, the lot size here was 1,486 square feet for these lots. And these, I believe, are 17 feet wide, so a little bit deeper. But, another example, actually, one municipality I failed to mention was Roxborough. They also did not specify minimum lots or minimum building separation. They also don't specify minimum lot size for townhomes other than 1,500 square feet. So slightly more than the 1,400 that we're proposing. And Durham, again, no requirements for minimum building separation beyond the building code requirements, and no minimum lot size for townhomes. A couple examples in Durham would be Trevino Towns, which was recorded in 2022 and recently finished construction. There's the plat. There again, 1,495 square feet is what the lot size is there. And you note the slightly wider lots there that are highlighted, that's for the 10-foot minimum building separation or to meet that requirement. This is another project in Durham. We don't need to hash it out, but this is Triple Crown. It was recorded in 22 or 23. Again, lots that are much smaller than 3,500 square feet. And this is a project in Wake Forest. It's not Triple Crown, it's noted above. It's actually Grove 98, I believe. This one was recorded in 22 or 23 as well. And here we have 1,584 square foot lots. So these are slightly wider at 22 feet, and 72 feet in depth, which actually is where the 1,400 square feet comes from, 20 by 70 lot. And with that said, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Obviously, it's not July anymore. But we'll answer them right now.
Any questions?
You have a question. So if you go back to your slides, the example of the house, let's go with this one.
Okay.
The lot size on these, I don't see it on, I saw it on the other one, but I don't see it on this one. Oh, I see it now.
22 by 72 is that.
Okay, I see it, 22 by 7, okay. So this is a 1,594 square foot lot.
Yeah, 1,584.
Okay, 1,584, thank you. And these are these adjoined townhouses or separate townhouses?
There are townhomes by definition have a common wall. So in this example, there are 5 buildings or 5 units that are connected. And actually, the aerial shows it right there. So you can see the 5 buildings,
I
the
see
5
it.
units. Each have individual drives, front doors, all that. So there are 4 common walls in there.
So, based on this, will somebody, for a 1,400 square foot lot, am I gonna have a garage, or do I get a garage, or do I get a driveway, or do I get some front yard or some backyard? I'm just trying to understand.
It's dependent on the townhome unit itself. Some have garages, some do not. These in particular have garages and driveways and less yard. But where townhome projects, or what you gain with this is a lot of times you have more green space or common green space. So you have more green space throughout the community as active rec space or something like that. It trades off for your individual yard. And what we're seeing right now in a lot of places is a lot of younger people don't want a yard, they want less maintenance, so,
That,
which is helpful, or it's different perspective for different folks, right?
right, so I'm assuming that that's your market is somebody in their, late 20s, early 30s to 40s?
It depends. We see lots of different people buy townhomes. Townhomes seem to be new starter homes for people now because they're less expensive. We also see older folks that are downsizing, going to townhomes, as well as anybody in the middle. A lot of times they represent a less expensive housing option than single-family homes. So you get a wide range of different folks that want to live in these types of communities.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
I have a question for Katie. Katie, so this text amendment, it will pertain to anyone that builds a townhome, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Townhome only,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? It's not their whole concept plan, it's just for the townhomes and
Yes, ma'am.
part of that PUD.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And it's not, again, it's not specific to this development, it's to any development that comes in. These are use-specific standards that have to be met, even in a PUD.
Right, but it's common to the townhome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just to reiterate, our planning staff has done a good bit of research on this. I know Cecil had submitted the email that he referenced, and they checked every one of those communities that he sent in, and the vast majority of them were in the same boat that was presented tonight, which is they don't have a minimum lot size.
Okay.
So we're still having a minimum lot size, and I know it sounds like, wow, you're changing significantly. Well, we also haven't had any townhomes since 2003. And if townhomes is going to be a part of the future development, this is in line with what other communities are doing for the modern townhome.
And to reiterate what Preston was saying, we have one building with 5 lots. So it is not 1 lot per building, it is 5 lots for one building in this example. So to do a 3,500 square foot lot would be gigantic. To split that into 5 lots for one building, that's a significantly larger lot.
That would be a large home, 3,500 square feet.
Exactly. So this is different than how a multifamily lot would be shown. So that's also possibly where that difference is coming from.
Okay. Makes sense.
Do you know the overall standard, like average of minimum feet across North Carolina, by chance, like for townhomes?
For townhomes themselves or for townhome lots?
Lots.
I don't know the average. I just pulled some of these projects I was involved with, some I wasn't. So I tried to find different examples from different municipalities to.
Where do we sit 10 feet wise, I guess is what my question is
Right.
comparably.
So the building code, minimum separation is 6 feet. And with 6 feet, you wind up limiting how many windows you can put in because of fire issues. At 10 feet or slightly above 10 feet, 10 feet would be the minimum. But once you get beyond that, it opens you up and it eliminates some of those fire issues. You can put windows, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility on the house, on the townhome itself. Durham's minimum separation used to be 10 feet. I can show you some developments in Durham that are less than 10 feet, down to 6. As I mentioned, Oxford, Roxborough, and Wake Forest, I don't believe, regulate that other than meeting the building code minimum. So by zoning, and like at the LDO or the UDO requirements, there aren't any minimum separation requirements.
Okay.
It just reverts back to the building code.
Thank you for that clarification. Sure.
Other questions, concerns?
One more for Katie. So let's say that we approve this LDO today. We do have the flexibility to change that in the future, though. right?
Yes. You can always request staff to investigate any changes that you would like to see, and we could write up any kind of amendment to the ordinance. And that would go, again, before the planning board, and then it would come back to you for final approval.
Thank you.
I was just gonna ask you, Katie, about the ones on 12th Street. Of course, they're, like you say, they were built in 2003. You happen to know what those measurements are?
I don't.
Okay.
That was before we were incorporated, so we don't have records of that.
Okay.
Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. So what is your pleasure regarding this?
Well,
I guess let me close the public comment period. All right, now,
I was gonna say that, we have a property that's a town home in Wilmington. Of course, I know everybody knows Wilmington is building left and right. But these are older townhomes. You can't hear me? I was gonna mention the townhomes in Wilmington, even the older ones, they do not have a large lot size. It's basically a place to park your car, and and then you walk into your home. They have a very small patio in the back, probably room enough to put a grill and a trash can.
Whoa. Did we say something?
Okay?
Have anything to do with the speaker.
So,
There you go.
I was comparing it to that, is what I'm saying. What I have experienced, what I've seen. We got those on 12th Street. I don't know what the measurements are, but it's not a lot of square footage there.
No.
It's just the home itself and a place to park.
Yeah.
And I think they got a small patio in the back.
yeah, they do.
Just to clarify, those are 20 by 130 on 12th Street, but that includes the roadway behind it, which is not common. And so when you take that roadway out, just to give you a quick measurement, even the ones on 12th Street today, just work for me, is going to be 20 by basically 100, which is, let's see, 20 by 100.
2,000.
2,000.
So, yeah, 20 by 100. Existing ones that we have.
And townhomes can have a larger square footage than their lot if they go up.
Right.
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 Okay.
So I have just one quick comment. So it sounds like the decision here is either the LDO, we go with this moving forward, or we decide that we don't want townhomes in Butner because nobody's developed townhomes since our incorporation, basically, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's not that we don't want townhomes, it's that the townhomes would have to meet these standards.
Right. But nobody's actually done that development.
No.
So-
And there have been people that have asked about townhomes and found it to be impractical, including the internal separation issue, because they had smaller lots that they wanted to put these townhomes on, 20 feet between buildings, made it to where they couldn't financially feasibly do that.
Right. Right. So that kind of leads me to comment for the council here. I am in favor of this to see how this goes initially with the, I guess, condition that we can change it in the future, because I think this gets us going in the right direction to see if there's any interest.
We do have some townhomes in Quail Meadows. I don't know if
Yes.
it's not a lot, but it's a few. And LDO is a living document, like you're saying, you can make changes.
And it's your document, so whatever you guys want.
The planning board has reviewed this and are bringing a recommendation to us, and the staff is also recommending this to us. I would move that we adopt the resolution as proposed, and know that if we find this is not appropriate, we can go back and revise it. Yes, we'll be left with some under these standards, but with no developers approaching us really for townhomes because of what we have, and townhomes gives us a chance for a lower price home for young home buyers, older home buyers needing to downsize. I move that we adopt it.
So we have,
Second.
is that a second?
Yes.
First by Councilmember Lane, second by Councilmember Shank. Any further discussion? That's right, yeah, consistency statement. You want me to hold on for a second? Do you mind reading the consistency statement?
The proposed amendment is consistent with the 2040 plan, 2040 objectives. The town will maintain and strengthen its relationships with the county, neighboring municipalities, and state and federal agencies that call Butner home, to ensure that growth and development are adequately coordinated and opportunities for partnerships are realized as they become available. 2040 goals, update the land development ordinance to incorporate the vision and goals set forth in the comprehensive land use plan. Conduct a review of the land development ordinance to incorporate any changes identified in the plan review process.
Thank you. So with the first and second motion with the consistency statement, would you include that in your motion? All right. Again, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried. Thank you, Katie.
Mayor, I just, one comment. I watched the planning board, the other night, and, that's not a timid group. They take things seriously, and I think the developer will, tell you, they're very free and challenging. So, that gave me a lot more respect for what the planning board actually says.
Okay.
Watching them deal with the development. So, I feel comfortable in trying this, and if it doesn't pan out really good, we'll go back and change it.
Okay. Yep, great, awesome. All right, now we're at the point for public comment period. Open it up for public comment period. Please state your name and address.
I think Mr. Bullock was signed up.
Yeah, I was just, did he want to come back up?
You want to come back?
Me again. Just a follow-up question. Okay, so I understand you just voted and after said that, obviously, have to. So you're saying that the LDO can be changed at a later date if you decide that this first phase, but this first development doesn't meet what you're looking for. So would that, if you decided to make a change at a later date to some other number, that would be applicable to any development that applied from that date or after, but nothing in front of that. So if any other developer comes in here, in addition to this gentleman here, for a different development somewhere, until the LDO is changed, they would fall under the same 1,400 minimum square foot.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. So you would have to make a change at some future date that would only apply to developers that would make application for a permit from that date forward. Thank you.
Mr. Bullock? Oh, sorry.
Talking on what I asked you about,
Yes, sir, if you want to come back up and,
procedure.
It's confusing when you have two public comment period on
See,
a,
what I didn't understand is that, when you come to each agenda, you come up and speak. I didn't know that.
that's all
I
right.
don't know if anybody else.
that's
knew
fine,
that or
not, not,
not. I do now.
We appreciate you coming up.
My question is, like I said, is about the sidewalks that you're proposing to put in, that you're gonna add. You're talking about getting easements. How do you go about getting the easement that you have to have? Does that consist of going into a person's yard from the street? I've been told that, I own property 50 foot towards the street and back. In other words, when you stand in the middle of the street, 50 foot towards my house belongs to the town or to the road, DOT, whoever owns that and operates it. So if you coming in off of the street, if you gotta come in a certain way, is that gonna be an easement that you gotta acquire from me to put a sidewalk, at the edge of the, road where you put one now? I see the sidewalks here. They look like they've taken, some of the people's yard. And I'm wondering how far that goes, that you gotta get an easement to ask a person if you can put a sidewalk in when you're talking about easements. And then the next thing is that are you gonna go, west? I live on West D Street. We don't have a sidewalk, from 12th Street down. Are you gonna put that in at any point in time? And if you do, how far is it gonna go towards 5th? Because when you get to 5th Street, that's the last street that crosses. 4th Street does not cross. And the thing about that, putting that in, you've got, another thing I want to address is you've got so much traffic on C Street. I'm on C Street every day. I live on D, but I spend a lot of time on C. And on 5th Street, when you coming up and down that street, everybody seems to use C Street because B Street is bombarded with dump trucks. And so you don't have to follow behind them. If you come on down, you can bypass them because you passed the rock quarry so you can get out. So that's another thing, the traffic is coming up. And let me back up, with these folks, bringing all of these houses in, this traffic thing is gonna be a major concern. They addressed that at the planning committee. They shot that down because of all the traffic that these folks are trying to bring in. And I know we need houses, because I know if we don't, my understanding is if we don't get some houses, our taxes is gonna go up. And so we're trying to, level that out so we can all stay in the same agenda. But the thing about that is, if we build in such volumes, and I know these people are talking about doing phases, but the traffic is already bad. Traffic on this street today was bad because, of coming off of another street. But if they start building like that, then it's gonna bring lots of traffic. So, but the sidewalk is my major concern as to how that's gonna affect me personally, coming down by my house. And what's the plan for that in the future?
Mr. Bullock, if you can leave your phone number with the clerk, I can follow up with you after and get some answers for you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the public comment period. And our next item is to receive and accept our September 2025 financial report by our financial director, Mr. Ung.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Attachment 10, and that's page 30. So we can turn to that with me. So at the end of September, this is our first quarter. And so we have a good financial for the first quarter. And let me just go ahead and start with our left-hand side, general fund. We end up with $14,172,306. Other funds, $5,637,025. And that brings our total cash and investment townwide, $19,809,331. Compared to last September, that's an increase of $1.4 million. Revenue collections by source, we collected at the end of September, $5,598,121. And this is made up 42.31% of our revenue as compared to the budget that we set up for. The significant things to point out is that our property and vehicle tax, so far, we've collected 68.82%. And interest earned has cooled down a little bit, but it's still hover around 24% that we've collected so far. As compared to the expenditure at the end of September came in at 31.93%. So we're still strong financially, revenue over expenditure for the month of September. All the projects remain on schedule. So far, the sidewalk C Street, this is the study, is at 67%. Gateway Butner Economic Development is at 33%. And then VZ Road Roundabout is at 29%. Take any questions you got.
Any questions for our financial director?
Things looking good.
Yes.
Hearing none, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion that we accept the financial report as presented.
Second.
We have a first by Mayor Pro Tem Branch, second by Councilmember Shank. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And Madam Mayor, number 11
Number
is
11.
still here for that as well.
All right. Our budget calendar.
Yes, just want to go ahead and apologize up front. You'll see this a few more times. Tonight, we just want to go ahead and present this to the remaining board, and then we'll present it again as the new board comes in.
Okay.
And some important dates to put on your calendar. All these dates. January 9th, I will provide my department heads with some audit numbers for fiscal year 24, 25, and then the current year up to date. And then I'll send that to them, working with them to come up with a department request that's due to town manager, who is the budget officer, by February 13th. And then on March 11th, we'll have our board retreat, and from 9 to 4 at Camp Butler Room. And of course, you guys remember, we'll do a tour in the morning on that day. March 31st, budget work session at 3 p.m. And April 14th, budget work session on the proposed budget, starting at 3 p.m. And then on May 7th, presentation of the proposed budget to council during the regular meeting. And then we'll have the advertisement go out to the public on the proposed budget on May 21st. And then June 4th, we'll have a public hearing on the proposed budget during the regular meeting, and then for adoption that night as well. And you'll see this again.
Yes.
Like we just did this, Hawk. Where's the time go?
I know. Here we go again.
Well, thank you, Hawk, and
Thank you.
sure everybody gets these dates on your calendar, because it will go really fast.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item number 12, will be by our town manager to receive, update, and consider change order number 2 with Timmons Group authorizing the preparation of easement plats, environmental work, and traffic counts for C Street sidewalk project in an amount not to exceed $36,700, and approve budget amendment 007-2026 in the amount of $21,710 from the Power Bill Fund, and approve C Street Capital Project Ordinance Amendment Number 3. Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll attempt to answer some of Mr. Bullock's questions as I talk through this, and then he and I can talk some more tomorrow as well. So we're talking about the C Street sidewalk project, and we talked about this during the work session this past month. And so just to kind of reiterate what we talked about during that work session for the update, we are working with the Timmons Group. They are our engineer. They're at 60% design plans right now on the sidewalk. The next step is DOT review. So DOT is reviewing those sidewalk plans right now. When we get approval back from DOT, that is when we'll be at the step to prepare plats for easements. And then we'll start the process of acquiring easements. And then, after we have all of the easements, we would then advance the plans to 100% before we could advertise and bid the project. The process of acquiring easements, there are some properties that we won't need easements for. In some cases, the sidewalk is within the DOT right-of-way. There are other situations where the sidewalk would go onto someone's property or back onto their property. And in that case, we would reach out to that property owner. We'd have the easement plats that we would show them. We'd talk about that property. Particularly on C Street, there is an old remnant of a sidewalk from the camp that was here. And so a lot of our sidewalk, at least on the phase 1 between 12th and Central, we'll be just tearing that up and replacing it. And so that could be a good thing too when it comes time to move that forward. We did get a total cost of $2.3 million, just under $2.3 million for the entire sidewalk. And during our work session, we said we cannot afford that. And that is not something we can afford. And so as a result of that, council divided this project into 3 phases. And phase 1 is 12th Street to Central Avenue. Phase 2 is 24th Street to the Colonial Mobile Home Park, as well as up 24th Street to D Street. And then phase 3 would be Central Avenue to 23rd. There is a map on page 35 of the agenda packet to kind of highlight where they are. Also, some of the data that we reviewed at that work session is there. But again, based off of our work session, council had agreed that we would move forward with phase one and then stagger phase two a couple of years later. So we'll put that into our capital improvement plan for a couple of years later. We felt that that project had the opportunity for grant funds, so we wanted to have some additional time to go after those grant monies. As far as the process, if we run into issues acquiring easements into phase one, we could always jump over to phase two and accelerate that as well. We do intend to finance this construction. Again, we can't afford the entire piece, but we can afford one or two phases if we finance it using our POW bill funds, which is devoted for that kind of work. And so that's kind of the update and what we talked about at the work session this past month. Out of that, this evening, we're looking to take the next step, which is to authorize some additional work with the Timmons Group. The first part would be those easement plats. We would want to begin that work, have them prepare those easement plats for us for the first and the second phase. We've got to get through having all of the plats. Also, in phase two, we want to do some traffic counts and some environmental work. That is only $1,000 of all of this money, and we believe that if, based off of the traffic on 24th Street, we could save up to $50,000 on that project. And so it's a good, we think, project to go ahead with the traffic counts on 24th Street. So all of that work, which includes the easement plats, the environmental and traffic work, is $36,700. We talked about those costs during the work session. We do have $14,990 in our contingency for this project. We haven't used any of that, so we could put that toward it. And so all that we're asking for this evening would be the additional $21,710 from the POW bill fund. We have over $500-some thousand in that fund, so we think we can use this $21,710. So in order to move that forward, we have a couple of action items for you we would recommend for approval. First off is change order number 2 with the Timmons Group for this additional work that totals the $36,700. The second item is a budget amendment 7-2026. That is for that additional $21,710 that we would need from the POW bill. And then the third item associated with this is updating the project ordinance, which is essentially just updating the overall budget based off of that additional money that's moving in. So again, our recommendation would be to move forward based off of the conversations we've had in the work session and in order to move at least phase one of this project forward.
Question. Does the easement plats, is that for phase 1, 2, and 3?
No, the easement plats is just for phase 1 and 2. And the reason for that is, as we said, if we run into issues with phase 1, it would allow us to move right into phase 2. And in phase 2, there's only 2 easements. And one of them is the state. And so we think it's good to go ahead and get those easement plats prepared so that we can begin those conversations.
And the money will come out of the power bill?
All of this, the additional $21,710 would come out of the POW bill, that's correct.
The whole project
Oh,
will come out of the power bill?
That ain't happening.
1 or 2 is gonna come out of the power bill.
our intent is to use POW bill for all of this. And that was the financial analysis that we provided at the work session, which indicated that even with the planned paving that we have over the next 5 years, we have $1 million in paving planned over the next 5 years. We felt that we'd have $1 million to $1.2 million available for sidewalk construction, and this would be one. But we'd like to finance it so that we can ensure that we can do more with that.
That wasn't stated. It said power bill,
Yes, it is POW bill, yes.
because we gotta spend it anyway.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yes.
POW bill is for roads, it's for sidewalks.
Right.
This has nothing to do with the town's general fund. Has nothing to do with the tax rate, none of that.
Yeah.
I have a question. How was this project, what was the purpose of this project to start with?
Yeah, when we talked about this project, we talked about getting access to Central Avenue, and we talked about some populations that we had. So we have a mobile home park community. During the work session, we talked about the fact that we have even more apartments between B and C Street in Phase 1. And that was a part of the reason that during the work session, council decided to go with the Phase 1, was because of that one had the most dwelling units. But it's about bringing folks to access to Central Avenue for some of those communities that maybe are lower income areas.
Well, I
Kids
thought,
walking to school.
but the other thing was kids, I thought it was for children going to school initially.
The one phase is,
Okay.
the end part near the Colonial Mobile Home Park, that is correct. And that is why that is still a priority, but because of that, we felt that that would be a better phase to go after grant money. There could be grant money for access to schools, but there is not as much grant money for just building a sidewalk. And so we felt if we'd have maybe 2 years to go after that grant money, which is why that is Phase 2 and not Phase 1.
Okay, so I understand. So you're putting that part off to be able to go for grant money in this case. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jordan, one thing, would you explain why we're not gonna be able to go all the way through, but along 23rd Street there?
Yeah, so there is a section that we're not able to do, and that is between 23rd and 24th Street. And that, when we went into this project, we knew that this was a very difficult project. All of the easy sidewalk projects are already done.
Right.
And so we knew that there's going to be curb and gutter. We knew there was going to be environmental issues, and that's what we ran into. So between 23rd and 24th Street, we have a water line on one side of the road that, since we have started design, has ruptured 2 times, maybe more. And so it's not we're not going to be putting a sidewalk on top of that water line, not to mention the side of the road falls off.
Right.
Same issue on the other side of the road, and so our engineers came to us and said they do not see a way for us to get from 23rd to 24th. And so at that point is when we extended the project up to the Colonial Mobile Home Park to ensure that it went to the entrance of that mobile home park to give them access to D Street and the school. And so, yes, there is that small block that we're not able to construct it. And that's what we're going to find as we get into construction of sidewalks. Most of the easy work has already been done.
Yeah, for me, that was a big disappointment, but I understand why we can't, and based on some of the quotes we got, and just looking at extending into the area, that one block would cost as much as the rest of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Other questions for Jordan? So what is your recommendation?
Our recommendation would be to approve the change order number 2, as well as the budget amendment and the project ordinance amendment.
All right. You've heard the request.
Motion that we approve as presented by the town manager.
We have a first by Councilmember Shank,
I'll second.
a second by Councilmember Lane. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried. All right, thank you. And we have a item 12A that you all should have. Consider accepting the Great Trail State Program grant from the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources for extending the East Lion Station Greenway, and authorize the town attorney and town manager to finalize the grant agreement. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor. So speaking of grants, this is one where we were successfully able to receive $500,000. This is $500,000 that would be put towards the East Lion Station Greenway extension. As you all know, and the town we've already approved, we are required to put match money into this, which is, it's a 2-to-1 match. And so the town's match would be $288,500 that we would put along with that grant. What we're looking to do is to construct the next section of that greenway, which is a 2,400 linear feet. It is a 10-foot wide paved multi-use path, essentially in front of the AMT Group in Carolina Coops over on East Line Station Road. These plans were originally designed in 2018. We have recently brought Kimley Horn back on board. They designed the plans in 2018. So we're working with them to not only update the plans, but they're going to provide the same thing, the easement acquisition exhibits that we need. They're going to, there is a required environmental review for this grant money that they will do, and they will assist us when we get to the bidding phase. As with any project, it does take time to acquire the easements. You have to have conversations with property owners. You have to have the exhibit. There's a lot that goes into that. And this project, like all of the others, is contingent on getting those easements. We have to have those in order to move forward. So that will take some time, but we do have 3 years to complete this grant, to spend the money and to complete the project. And easement acquisition costs, they are an eligible grant expenditure as well. So that is helpful for us. So what we're here to do this evening is just to accept this grant, as well as to allow myself and the attorney to finalize that grant agreement, which will come from the state, and it will most likely, I don't know that we'll be making many changes to it usually when it comes from the state, but that is our recommended action to move forward.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by Councilmember Daniels, second by Mayor Pro Tem Branch. Any further discussion?
Real quick, just brief, sorry.
Sure.
Would you mind, Town Manager, to kind of talk about how the new development's gonna play a role with the new greenway as well? If you don't mind, because that's where it's gonna come up to at that point.
Yeah, I guess, maybe the way to speak to it is that this greenway is a part of a multi-year plan. I mean, it's in our 2040 plan. The whole idea is to extend that greenway the entire way to Gate 2 Road. Now, that's the long-term plan. This is the next section that we're looking to complete, which would then potentially, if it's approved, could feed into the North Point development, which is the next one. I know that still is with the planning board, and you all will have your chance at that as well. Their concept plan includes extending the next section beyond this section of that greenway, and it includes taking it essentially over to 56 through that entire property. And so this would be the missing link that we're talking about. And so there is the potential here. The existing East Line Station Greenway is about a mile long. And again, this is 2,400 feet. And then, again, if everything is successful, we'd love for a developer to have to spend their money and not our money to continue to extend that greenway. But could be a really good project at the end of the day as far as extending greenways and making walkability a big thing in Butner. So,
Thanks for making that correlation. I just want to shout out Barb and everybody that put in the work for this grant in particular, but grants take a lot of effort and time, and it saves the taxpayers a lot of money.
Team effort.
All right, so without any further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Motion carried. Thank you. And again, thanks Barb for your hard work on this one. All right, we're now off to reports. We'll start with our town manager.
I feel like I've been talking a lot tonight. I'm going to talk some more. Get some water. Talk some more. One item that's not on the manager's report, just you may have seen it, but we did have the ceiling and the striping completed here at Town Hall. That was done over last weekend. So the stripes are refreshed and the ceiling is done. They'll be moving to the BAP and the sports arena soon to do that same work. A couple of things I want to put on your calendar. We are planning a new council member orientation. We'll have some new council members coming on board. We're inviting all of you as existing council members to come to that. And that is December 11th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That will be here at Town Hall. And again, we'll need to know if any of you are available and plan to come. We will have to put out the appropriate notice, and we do plan to have lunch that day. That is again, a 9 to 2 orientation for our new council members. Next item, just to give you an update, we spoke about North Point there briefly a minute ago. Just as you know, as a part of that project, there is an annexation, which is a process we have to go through to bring property into the town of Butner. And we held the public hearing for that annexation a month or two ago. We are holding off on bringing that for approval because we are required to have zoning in place within 60 days of that annexation. And as you know, the planning board initially has continued their case from October 9th. They're meeting again next week, November 13th. If it moves through the planning board and ultimately were to come to you all, we could be in position next month to be talking about that annexation. But just want to, if you're wondering why we haven't brought that, we need to tie it with the zoning, and we don't want to get ahead of each other if one goes one way or the other. So that is for your information on the North Point annexation. The next item, the town's timber harvest project has begun. The crews are working behind B Street. They're accessing the timber from C and 4th Street. Again, their work is weather dependent, but they're working on a section that is about 40 to 50% of the entire timber harvest. You may remember it's 192 acres total. They're doing a section that is 40 to 50 acres, and they think they could have that done by the end of the calendar year. They started a few weeks ago kind of back off of B Street. Within the last week or so, they have now moved up behind the houses on B Street. And the intent of this project, not only did it bring in good revenue for the town, which helps us, there are a number of trees that border the homes that are suffering and fall from time to time. And so this project is designed to get rid of those trees and to lower our liability along those property owners. And so we do know that a timber harvest, that is a messy process. Fortunately, it's dried out some in the last day and it's improved. But just want you to know that that project is underway. We do have the map in the agenda if you want to see the entire extent of the timber harvest. We did also have some trees here at Town Hall that we removed this past month, and we've since replaced them with smaller flowering fringe trees. The other trees were growing into the others, and we wanted to prevent an issue there. You may notice the new playground that's going up across the street at Gazebo Park. Public Works did a lot of work preparing the site this month. On this past Monday, the playground equipment was delivered. The installers are here. They are hopeful to have it complete by Thanksgiving. That will include much more than what was there before. There will be shades, new swing set, benches. We are going to incorporate in 2 benches from the BCA that they got with grant money. There will be musical elements, the standard playground equipment, and a lot of folks are excited about that rubberized surface, which will make this an ADA accessible playground as well. So that is underway. One other update, as far as the street paving that is planned for this fiscal year, we do have funding within the POW bill to pave some streets. You may remember we did a pavement condition assessment this past year, which prioritized which streets needed to go first. And we're working with our engineer, Davis Martin and Powell. They have completed the design, the specifications. They're releasing that for bid this week for paving companies. We do have a pre-bid meeting in mid-November. We hope to open them in late November. Could bring those back to you at your December or even your January meeting, depending on the bids we get. The sections that will be completed, if anyone is interested, that is a small portion of 30th Street. It's in the 700th block of 30th Street. It is 23rd Street between C and D. It is 15th Street between E and F. Those are what we're bidding out. And then we've included 2 additional ones as alternates. Depending on the pricing, we could potentially add them in as well. And those are 5th and 16th Streets between C and D. All of these total to about 3/4 of a mile, if you want to just have an idea of how long that is. So 3/4 of a mile for all 5 of these. After we would award the bid, it would be spring before this work would begin when it warms up. Still going. This month, we met with Senator Everett. We also met with a senior leader at DOT. It was a very productive meeting. There is a flyer in the agenda that speaks to improvements that the town would like to see on Highway 56. And that is a DOT road, so we don't control that. But we had a good chance to advocate with DOT. There was a study of this area. This is between essentially the interstate and the Community College Drive, South Campus Drive. There was a study 10 years ago that the Capital Area MPO put together. Recently, we updated some of the crash data on that section, and we think there's a need for improvements. And so we're advocating for that. Out of that meeting, DOT was able to then go to Campo, and they revised a project that's being submitted in the state prioritization process. They prioritize transportation projects every 2 years, and right now, they're prioritizing for 2028 through 2037. As Tom has told us a number of times, that's how the transportation project works. But we're hopeful that this meeting and the changes that they've made will make that project more competitive in that prioritization process. So, wanted you to be aware of that. The next one, several of these are transportation related. I know there's a lot of talk about transportation. The VZ Road Roundabout, just want to give an update on that. Unfortunately, some not so great news. We're hearing out of DOT. This is a project where we received $2.6 million in grant money to build this roundabout, and we're committed right now to just under $500,000 of that, which that is the design cost, and it's in design. We're at 25% design plans, and DOT is telling us they're fearful that the federal government could pull those funds and not include them in the budget after September of 2026. So that means we would have to have it obligated and ready to go to construction before that. And that means really, DOT is saying by May of this coming year, 2026, we'd have to have several other things done. And we're only at 25% plan, so it's going to be very difficult to meet that. We are working with our engineer to speed up the design process. It will be designed, and we're hopeful that we'll get, or the funding won't be pulled, or that we'll be able to work that out, but just want you to know about that as soon as we're hearing about it. The other issue on this project, as you all know, the town is responsible for any construction costs over the available grant money. And at 25% plans, the engineer determines an idea of a project budget. And they're throwing a 30% contingency in, which is pretty high. That's $532,000 in contingency funds. And with that included, they're saying we would be about $700,000 over that grant money in terms of the project cost. So they're going to revise that budget as we get closer. So these are 2 significant issues related to this project. We're going to continue to plug away on the design and work to meet the May deadline as much as we can. And the budget will be revised as we go through that. But just, again, want you to be aware of that. Last update that I have, also transportation related, just want to give an update on the West Line Station realignment at Highway 56. We did meet with DOT. They provided us an update. This is, again, not a town project. This is a DOT project. They're in the stages of paving right now, bringing up the grades. Because of that, they've been shutting down some lanes, and there's been some traffic backups in town. And we're hearing about that. That is a temporary thing. They're getting through the paving, and as they finish that up very soon in the next week or so, that issue should alleviate. DOT is hopeful that they will move traffic to the new pattern by the end of this calendar year, and that project is set to wrap up in May of 2026, this coming year. And so that project is moving right along. That will be very helpful when that project is done. And as you all may know, the town will be responsible for maintaining the sidewalks that they're going to put in as a part of that project, as well as the old portion of West Line Station Road will be responsible for that maintenance going forward. On a related note, in that area, DOT has installed no parking signs along C Street, and we've been working with them for probably 6-8 months to get that done. And that has made a huge difference on truck parking, and DOT intends to repave C Street and Highway 56 in 2026. So at that time, they will be fixing the ruts that have been created by the trucks that are parking there. So again, just a couple of updates. Sorry it was so much this evening, but a lot going on, so, and that is my report.
One thing in that, I just noticed that they're already erecting in fact, the poles are already up for the lights.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and the truck with the wire on it was there yesterday.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yep. Progress.
It was sooner than the end of the year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Any questions for our town manager? All right, Katie, for planning.
So we've been busy too. And Jordan took away a little bit of my report because he always does that. So for October, we've had some coordination meetings with Gate 2 Road and the Central Avenue Corridor Study. The Umstead Small Area Plan, we had a coordination meeting with DFI, and the VZ Road Roundabout. Jennifer attended the APA-NC conference and presented. We're working with GovWell to go live. We're really excited about that. We're hoping that that can be in the middle of November. Our fingers crossed.
Okay.
I've actually been using it quite a bit, like behind the scenes to do some review, so it's been really great. I've really enjoyed it. We have 8 active code enforcement cases. This says 3 permits issued in October. I think that number increased to about 9 permits total in October. And what Jordan stole from me is that our planning board meeting, we're going to continue the PUD rezoning for North Point. So development, I have some more updates than just these updates. So for Meritage Homes off of West Lion Station Road, we have received an official submittal from them and are reviewing that actively.
Okay.
American Hero, that is under construction. I think they're working on their foundation now. Falls Lake Industrial, we have received an amended plan and that has been reviewed and comments have been sent back to them. So that is still actively ongoing for phase 1. And I don't have any updates for the other projects, which is Creedmoor Fuel, Stream RV, Alltech, the Seguasa lift stations, and Falls Lake Academy is still on hold.
Okay.
Any questions for Katie?
I think they've been a little busy lately.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Chief, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Just want to tell everyone, thank you for all you all who came out to the track and treat the other night. Those that couldn't make it, sorry, it was a good time.
A little chilly.
We had to put a zip tie on the candy box to keep me out of it for the past week, so I wish we would have gave it all away, but we didn't. Our numbers in front of you for, excuse me, last month. Total number of incidents, we had 46 fire incidents. Motor vehicle collisions, I was looking at the statement that we had about NC 56 to corridor. And this week, we are totally keeping up with that 500% increase in traffic collisions over the past 5 years, it seems like. I think we had a 3-car crash earlier this evening, a crash yesterday.
Yep.
And most of it, like this, the studies show, is all of them are between I-85 and Bojangles. I wish we could do something about it, but it's terrible.
I was right behind the 3-car.
Oh, were you? Yeah. So it's, yeah, sorry about that. Our police calls, again, are there in front of you. Our notable events, on October the 10th, we responded to a shooting at Gate 1 Road. Once on scene, our officers learned that Barry Hargis had assaulted Robert Height. Both lived off of Gate 1 Road. Mr. Height repeatedly struck a golf cart, or Mr. Hargis repeatedly struck a golf cart Mr. Height was riding in. Yeah. My writing's wrong.
Golf cart?
Yes, he struck the golf cart numerous times with the vehicle. Mr. Height was in imminent fear of his life and fired one shot, striking Mr. Hargis in the shoulder. He then fled to Burlington. Burlington actually had a barricaded standoff with this man in Burlington, but they were able to take him in custody with non-life-threatening injuries, and he was charged with multiple warrants. On October 23rd, our flock cameras again notified us of a stolen vehicle out of Durham. We come to find out that Tracy Warren and Brianna Smith were occupants of the stolen vehicle. They had just stolen a bunch of food from Food Line. So as typical with people stealing vehicles, they're coming into our jurisdiction with false plates, stolen plates, and committing other crimes. So this is something the cameras have really helped us with. Our training hours for September through October, we participated in 324 hours of fire training, 290 hours of law enforcement training included by all of our public safety officers. October 5th through the 11th was Fire Prevention Week. Approximately 400 children were taught the fundamentals of fire safety from our schools and our visits to daycares, and they even came to the station for tours. National Night Out was a huge success. It was really nice this year. Beautiful weather, beautiful time. Thank you for all of you all who came, who volunteered, especially to the town staff members who helped us with this. And our BPS employees participated in the hazardous materials tabletop exercise at Food Line Distribution Center with Granville County Emergency Management. It was an anhydrous ammonia release, which is used in their refrigeration system there. We will also be participating in a full-scale exercise there on December the 13th as well. So, a lot going on. We did facilities training this week in Stovall at their training center. All of our employees come in on their day off, so we could do 8 hours of fire training with each shift this week and the week after.
Oh, no, Chief, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Where's our fire trucks? Oh, you know I'm gonna let you buy with that one.
Engine 1 is currently in the shop. Fire engines have to be tested, their pumps have to be tested every year.
I got you.
It was taken to Rocky Mount for a pump test, and something inside the transmission that drives the pump has messed up. We have turned that in on insurance.
Okay.
We're waiting for them to look at it, so hopefully it may be an insurance claim because this is a mandatory test that we have to do every year.
All right, I'll follow that part.
The ladder truck, it's coming.
What happened to the other truck that you all thought that was?
It is almost, the other truck is almost completed.
Yeah.
We're hoping to have it to us before January. I have pictures of it. I can get you all pictures of it. See pictures this week because they're asking
It does
for
exist.
Put these spotlights. We're actually going down next week to take all of the equipment off of engine 1.
Right.
And to show them where we want the rest of the equipment on engine 3.
Yay.
Yes. And I wish we could have the company who is building our new ladder truck pay for all of the money the repairs that we're spending on the other ladder truck now.
I hear you.
There was actually a congressional meeting Captain Knutson viewed the meeting where Congress actually questioned the fire apparatus builders about the delay in time.
Yeah.
And how the prices of these fire apparatus have totally increased over the past 2 or 3 years. And they're looking at antitrust things and stuff like that. So I don't know where that's going.
Really bothers me that basically we had a contract with them for a delivery date.
Yeah.
Yes, the truck should have been here.
And they just ignored it. That really bothers me.
Yes. So I get mad about it, but.
I understand, Chief.
Yeah, it's not your
Yeah.
fault, yeah.
If we were to reprice it right now, it'd be another $300,000 to $400,000
Yeah.
than what we're paying for it now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chief. All right. Reports from our attorney.
I don't have anything.
Next, we're moving on to mayor and council comments. So as everyone has reported, it has been a very busy month. So for activities that I've been doing this month, first I want to inform everyone that Councilmember Vicki Daniels is now on our beautification committee.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Restoration and beautification.
Yes.
Just making sure. I too also attended the Food Line Distribution Hazmat Material Tabletop Discussion, and it was very informative, so quite interesting. Attended the COG Summit, and several council members attended with me as well, so I had the opportunity to present Butner and talk about what I love about Butner, what we all love about Butner, and mention our parks and recreation activities. We had a work session on the opioid situation by Catherine Hazlitt, Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Program. She's the manager at Granville Advanced Public and Health. And then our county commissioner, Jimmy Gooch, was also present. He is the opioid advisory committee chair. So it was very informative about what's happening in Granville County regarding opioid use. For those who love oysters and seafood, our Chamber of Commerce, Granville County Chamber of Commerce, will have their annual Cluck and Shuck tomorrow. It will be at the Granville Expo Center. So if you have not purchased your ticket, please connect with the chamber. It's always a fun event, so we'd love to see some of you there. I participated with the Granville County Public School System when they had their dedication at the Granville Central Middle School. They dedicated the Hawley Library to, made it the Hawley Library dedication in memory of Dr. Hawley from Hawley Middle School. So that was really nice to see. Also did want to congratulate, because I wasn't here last month, for the board completing our Commit to Civility training with the North Carolina League of Municipalities. That is a huge accomplishment, so we will get our award at the 2026 League Conference. Town manager and I met with American Red Cross, which was the Jim Copio, who is the community leader for Wake County, and Ellen Gorman, the executive director for the Triangle. So they share some great information about how we could partner with the American Red Cross. So in addition to how they help when it comes to natural disasters, they can also help with providing smoke detectors and education around home fires. So I thought that was really important. That's something that we're going to be looking at, how we can do that along with BPS. And yes, the track or treat was a lot of fun. It was a little chilly, but I had a good time. So thank you to BPS and all staff who made that successful, along with National Night Out. Both events were really greatly attended, and I think everybody had a good time. So with that, we'll start with council comments. We'll begin on my end with Mayor Pro Tem Branch.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank staff and Butler Police Station, all you do. I appreciate it, Chief. I'm not picking on you. As you all know, our Christmas events are coming. Christmas in the park and the parade is coming. I don't think the town knows that, too. Next meeting for the BCA, I believe, is November the 20th at 7 p.m. So those who are interested in participating or joining or both, please come to Camp Butner at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. One of the other things I didn't get a chance to talk about, and for the elementary school, Butner STEM Elementary School, and this can be discussed later, but I've heard two different stories about the condition of the building, and maybe Jordan, you can clarify this. One was to demo the half of the buildings that are older. Another I've heard is the buildings could be occupied and be used, so for certain uses. So could you clarify that for me?
That's a good question. The town doesn't own that school.
Right.
The school system owns it. I believe there's a process where, the county has the first right at that property. We did take a tour. Our folks were invited to a tour with the school board and some folks. I'm not sure. I think there's probably all kinds of thoughts of what could happen to that, but at this point, I think the county is kind of in the driver's seat of that.
Right, so, I mean, so it does have use, it could be used now, but we don't have the ability to do that because of the county has first.
So the town has no right to it at all.
I understand that.
And so the county, there's a process you have to go through by state law. And so the county will have the first right at taking ownership of that. There have been a number of different groups that have gone through that building with the county. I can't speak for them,
Okay.
but, there's been a number of folks that have gone through it. I'm not sure what the leading thought is. They don't own it yet at this point.
Right,
I
okay.
don't know if Jim has any thoughts.
The only thing I would say is that any use other than a school would likely be a change of use. It would require extensive renovation of the building before it could be used.
Okay, okay. All right, Jim. Thank you, that's it for
Thank
me.
you. All right. Councilmember Lane.
This has been a busy month for me, and so many other things. And I've actually done less, continued working with the Carter Council. I was installed as treasurer of Carter Council of Government, and since I've been re-elected, I'll continue serving that role. Because otherwise, they would have had to find someone else. And folks don't really realize the role that the Carter Council plays, because there's so much of the federal money that flows through that body. That's a 5-county program, and it plays a really important role. Much of the aging money comes through that group. The funding for your senior citizens, most of that money comes through that body, and it plays a really important role. And as you've heard me say many times, with the transportation issues, that we are actually aligned through that organization. So it takes quite a bit of time for the meetings, for those transportation meetings and all. And having a good working relationship with that group puts us in a better position for receiving grants and receiving recognition for what little bit of transportation fund that does come down through the state. We just happen to be in a region that there's just a lot of competition for the transportation funding, and smaller communities, as I've said many times before, tend to suffer a little bit there, but continue to do those meetings. The Crime Stoppers banquet this year was very nice, and was glad to see our officers recognized for what they do, and continue to support that group as much as I can. So
Great.
things are continuing to move along. So.
Good. Yeah, great. Well,
Chief
thank you.
Champion didn't have to go first this year.
No,
That's right.
I think that made his day for
Yeah, he
about
didn't have to
several
go first.
months, didn't it?
Yes.
I think you were the best.
Save the best for last. Daniels?
And Councilman Daniels did an
Yes.
excellent job of organizing the event.
Yes,
so.
you
Thank you
did.
very much.
And the food was really good.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, when I was walking in tonight, I was handed some information.
Okay.
Someone wanted me to share. I didn't do it, of course, in public comments. I chose to do it now.
Okay.
And this person is very concerned about the end of Elf Street, where, you know, where you're facing the woods. That somebody is hunting and has a camper. I don't know if they stay in it through the day or they spend it the night, but anyway, she's concerned about that. She also said that there was a lot of speeding daily on East E and East F. And this person is very observant. She thinks the post office parking lot, you know, it looks kind of bad. It's got a few holes in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Just a few.
Just a few, so I don't know if that's the owner of the building
Yes.
that would need to take care of that.
I know the post office would
The
have
post
to.
office,
Post office.
okay.
Yeah, they got new trucks, so they should be
Yeah,
getting.
I
Yeah.
know. They got
I
pictures.
noticed that.
Yeah, they got new trucks this week.
How do you hold the federal government accountable to that?
No, I don't.
Well,
I guess it takes a while.
Yeah.
You just have to keep
Yeah.
greasing the wheel.
Okay.
The other thing is, this would probably be a town and country thing. She's talking about Ace Hardware. She feels like there needs to be lights up there. There's a great big shrub coming out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
She would like to have more light. Okay, she said at our water tank, there's, I guess, a repair at the shoulder of the road, is how she put it on here. And she said, of course, she mentioned, you know, there's not a place for truck drivers to park.
Right.
But I told her we've been talking about it, but we can't really address it. She's suggesting that maybe some businesses will let the transfers park there. But we already know that's not working. You know, they've already put up barricades, you know.
Nope.
But she's noticing things that we have already noticed and talked about.
Okay.
But I wanted to share those concerns to make sure that they were noted.
Okay, thank you.
I thought our litter campaign kickoff went really good. We had probably, 20, 25 in attendance? Michelle did an excellent job. Mayor Pro Tem Branch did an excellent job. And I was, you know, everybody that went up there, they only spoke about 2 to 4 minutes. And he was well prepared. I was impressed. He represented Butner well. So
Thank you.
Very good, very good. I thought we had some children to come out, and we had a artist that came out and showed us how to paint. Now, I don't know how to paint, but he'd give you a palette, and he would show you how you mix your colors. But we made a flower that had a ladybug on it.
Nice.
Police. But we had probably about 12 people that came to paint. And we had enough room for 15. So I thought that went very well. I wrote some notes here. I'm sure Tom and Mayor Jordan could expand on this too. You know, the Carter Summit that we went to. I wish I could had a little bit shorter script that I could share with you, but I thought it was really interesting. They talked about, why are you here? Why did you choose Butner as your home? And some of the things that they talked about was, you know, do you like to bike and ride? Is this why you chose Butner? You buy locally? Do you enjoy your local assets? Do you volunteer? Do you eat local food here? Are you civically engaged? You create something? You build an influence? So there's reasons why we decide to stay here. And I thought that was interesting, how the things that she pulled out, that some people are just generational, and they just maybe go place to place. But then you connect with what's around you, and you decide you want to stay here. That's when you start investing. I think that was the key.
Yeah.
We start investing in our environment and the place that we live. So I really enjoyed it.
It was good.
It was really good. So thank you.
All right, Councilmember Shank.
I'll wrap it up. Boy, oh boy, was it busy in October. I attended more than I thought I did. So I'm gonna start with the most recent. We had a meeting on Monday. I had the honor to represent one of the council members showing up to the meeting with the developer North Point and our planning board. And I just want to commend the planning board for going to bat for the town. They really, really, truly care about everybody that lives here. I think we made a lot of progress with that developer. We kind of laid out a few of our stipulations that needed to be met, and they were willing to, join us in that fight. One of those being a traffic light. They're going to go and try to get that traffic light done with the NCDOT and get that process going. They decided on 25% reduction on the apartment density, which was huge for us. So we're planning on getting that in writing. And then the third thing was just the third connection needed through the Creedmoor development that was recently approved. So we got all those out. It was a heated discussion, but it needed to happen, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do that with that developer. A lot of progress there. And then this week, actually the town manager, the mayor, and I met with a new business in the community, Freeman Wrestling Club. He is offering wrestling club training, also tutoring for the community, and I think it's a vital new business. Ari has been in the community for a while, and it's going to be a great contribution. So if you have a chance, if you have kids that want to be involved in that, please reach out to him. Crime Stoppers Banquet was my first year attending that. Very well attended by a lot of important political figures, and then also, obviously the police forces and firefighters of all the counties, cities and towns. So it was very well put together. Thank you, Vicki, for doing that.
Thank you.
Town campfire and movie night for Halloween. I didn't hear anybody mention that, but that was great. Thanks for everybody that puts that together as well. I keep seeing more and more people showing up to the town events, and it's very encouraging. I love to see it. Along with National Night Out, that's same light there. Lord Granville Agricultural Heritage Association Harvest Festival, a whole mouthful there, but that was my first attendance at that festival as well. If anybody gets a chance to go to that, please do it. There is a lot of creative people that put on that event, and it's important to Butner. And then last but not least, I want to thank all the poll workers, all the candidates who ran. Even the ones that didn't win, they decided to serve the community if they were to be voted in. Everybody involved in voting. Thank you to everybody for that. And I know there's a lot of effort put into it. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
A follow-up to that, I'd like to commend all of the candidates for the way everything was conducted. I was very pleased and proud of how well the election process took place this time.
Compared to other towns and communities,
There you go.
Butner's very cordial.
Yes.
Yes.
Very politely said.
Yes.
And we had a very good candidate.
Yes.
You did.
A lot of people who care.
Yeah, exactly. Great, thank you. Well, as y'all heard, October was a very busy month for all of us, so hopefully November will slow down just a little bit before we have to pick up speed again in January. So with that, do we have anything for closed session this evening? No closed session. All right, nothing for closed session. Adjournment, what is your pleasure? Staying or going? First by Councilmember Lane, second by Councilmember Daniels. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, all in favor? Well, I did say that.
Yeah.
Aye again.
Bye.
Thank you for coming this evening, and thank you for your